into Parliament representing this constituency. And in the forthcoming general election, I don't care what I'm called. I am British, and our victory movement is for Britain. If you wish to call us fascists as well as British, we are proud of that name. And I'm proud of our policy. It has 3 points. First point, keep Britain white. Send the blacks back to Africa and the West Indies where they belong. The second point, keep Britain free. Smash the international financiers, the Jews, the Greeks, and the Americans, whatever race they are. And point three, keep Britain strong. Jail the disarmers, the pacifists, the red saboteurs. What are the police for? Arrest them, lock them up!
Good afternoon, George.
Oh, Commissioner?
I want to have a word with you if it's convenient. Your office will do.
Yes, of course.
Oh, good afternoon, Commissioner. Keane. How are you, Bell?
Fine, thank you, sir.
How's the leg?
Fine, sir, thank you.
Good.
Joe, how is your leg? I mean, really. You can tell me the truth. How did it really happen?
I used to be a ballet dancer in India.
You don't say.
I tripped over a snake and fell into a pit where the knife thrower kept his knives.
Good Lord.
And before I knew what was happening... Commander Gideon's office.
We had some trouble at Vane's fascist meeting yesterday.
Yes, I read the report from division.
George, I'm concerned.
Oh, the situation's under control.
How do you see it?
Well, Vane's putting up over 50 candidates all through the country at the forthcoming election. In every single constituency opposite Vane's men, the Independent Peace Party is running a candidate in opposition. I've had a meeting with uniform branch. They're taking all the usual precautions.
The usual precautions may not be enough.
Why not?
Vane's received some threatening letters.
Oh?
The Home Secretary forwarded them to me for appropriate action.
Fascist pigs deserve to die. All unsigned?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'll have special branch consult the list of political cranks.
We must make sure that nothing happens to Vane.
He's an absolute genius at making a nuisance of himself.
You know he's handing in his nomination papers at Chisnell tomorrow?
Yes, yes. So is Sampson, the independent peace candidate.
You don't anticipate any trouble?
Well, I didn't when I saw these. Would you like me to put someone in charge who reports to me directly?
Oh, I wish you would. What about Bill Parsons?
Well, if you like.
Good chap, Parsons. He was seconded for special duty in Cyprus and Kenya. He's hard-headed, tough, efficient. Yes, I think Parsons will be fine.
Well? I understand Commander Gideon's anxious to see me.
He sent for you. There's a difference. I'll tell him you're here.
Yeah?
Chief Superintendent Parsons is here, sir.
Show him in.
Go right in.
Thank you.
You don't like him, do you?
Not much. Bill Parsons is like garlic. Little goes a long way.
Makes you sick, doesn't it?
Vane's victory movement are putting up candidates throughout the country in opposition to Sampson's independent peace party.
Just my cup of tea, this job.
Why? Which side are your sympathies on?
Who said I had any sympathies, one way or the other?
Oh, haven't you?
No. And no political associations either. All I've got is a feeling that this is just about the best democracy in the world.
Yeah, well, you could be right.
And I think these troublemaking fanatics are scum. Dirty scum.
What, all of them?
All the ones I've seen. Beatniks and layabouts. They run around carrying funny placards, deliberately inciting riots. I'd like to see the whole ruddy lot of them locked up until after the election.
Well, that's going a bit far. However, talk to Vane about those letters. He and Sampson are handing in the nomination papers tomorrow at Chisnell Town Hall. Offer Vane protection if he wants it.
Very good, sir.
And contact Superintendent Saunders of Uniform Branch. I want that little ceremony to go off with correct British democratic politeness, all right?
Right, sir. It's not over yet. Scruffy-looking lot, aren't they?
Now, these are the papers for my candidate. You signed and correct, I say, at a conservative estimate. Sir Arthur, your nomination papers. And most important, of course, your deposit. Well, it'll be in good hands here at the town hall, you know. Now the formalities are over, may I invite you to a glass of council sherry and, of course, meet your rival representatives of the people. Of course, you know Mr. Drummond, Labour, and Mr. Roll Douglas, Conservative.
How do you do?
But, oh, you may not have met our new challenger to the race, Mr. Leo Sampson. Sir Arthur Vane, Mr. Leo Sampson. Now, Mr. Sampson is...
Independent peace candidate and anti-fascist.
Yes, of course. Mr. Sampson, now, Sir Arthur Vane is from...
The Fascist Victory Movement.
Excuse me. Why do you wear that badge? This one.
I wear it because I support the movement for colonial freedom.
Freedom. It's a conspiracy to hand over our people in Africa to the black murderers. Miles, a conspiracy of those who escaped from the gas chambers. What's he saying?
I shall want an apology from that so-called pacifist, that freak you allowed in here.
Haven't got proper powers. I'd soon fix this lot.
We'll manage. We always do.
Vane's coming out now.
Miles, I'm sorry you didn't get a chance to hit back at that freak Sampson.
There'll be other chances.
He could be dangerous. Suppose he sent those threatening letters?
Superintendent Parsons thinks not.
You talk to the police?
Interminably. Where's your car, Smith?
Parked outside your apartment.
Good.
Here he comes.
Oh, a reception committee, what a bore. And one policeman. That's how Parsons keeps his promises.
Shall I join into the garage?
No, John, don't worry. Mr. Smith and Mr. Miles can get out here. I'll see you at 8:30 at my apartment. Hamilton is coming down from Birmingham.
Terribly sorry. I thought you were somebody else.
was all that about?
Darling, I'll do the washing up. You've got a date.
Don't delay it. Matthew will do the drying.
Can't. I have to work on the car. Van belt's slipping.
That's not all.
Oh, leave them to drain. I'll dry them in the morning.
Accept these small blessings gratefully.
A party proposing such vast changes in this nation's political, cultural, and economic life must expect to be asked for details of exactly, my friends, what they propose to do if elected.
Oh, Dad,
Why this sudden interest in politics?
I was picking up some pointers. How to sway the masses.
Are you planning to sway the masses?
Yes, I'm running for office.
Where?
We're having a mock election at school. I'm a candidate.
Malcolm, that's fascinating.
I'll say, vote for Gideon. Gideon's the greatest. I made a terrific speech yesterday.
Huh? What's your platform?
I didn't have a platform. I just stood on top of one of the desks.
Well, which party do you represent?
I'm a Gosh,
What's the matter?
I can't remember whether I'm a Labour or a Liberal. Is there much difference?
Don't ask me, ask the Prime Minister.
Don't worry, Smith. Hamilton here isn't afraid of a bit of violence.
Let the roughhouse element get out of hand and we'll lose half our supporters.
The trouble with you, Smith, is you're too blamed passive. We need to split a few heads open to get people to think straight.
I warn you, Miles, the British people hate anything that smacks of gangsterism in politics.
A harsh problem sometimes needs a drastic solution.
Come, gentlemen, there's no point in quarreling among ourselves. The great thing is to make an impact at the general election. Hamilton, thank you very much for coming down from Birmingham.
It's been a pleasure, Sir Arthur, and a privilege. You can leave everything in Birmingham to me.
I do with the greatest confidence. Good night and a safe journey back.
Good night.
I'll see you to your car.
Thanks.
I'll see you tomorrow.
Yes, good night, Miles.
Here all afternoon for your car. I thought that was it. Gave the man a horrible fright.
What is this? What do you want? I told you never to get in touch with me in London.
I know you did. Now I know why.
How did you find out?
Well, I rang your office and I said that I was a friend of your family and they gave me your address.
Look, you didn't.
No, I didn't go up to your flat. Why couldn't you tell me you were married?
For God's sake, keep quiet.
How long will it take you to get to Birmingham?
At this time of night? About 3 hours.
I hope you won't be too tired for the meeting tomorrow.
Not at all. Talking to Sir Arthur's been a real inspiration. He's a wonderful man, isn't he?
Absolutely unique. He appreciated your coming down.
Are you sure I can't give you a lift home?
No, thanks, old chap. I live just round the corner.
Kathy, I'm sorry. I tried to tell you a dozen times. I just couldn't.
It was wrong, wasn't it?
Look, I can't talk now. It's nearly 10. My wife is expecting me at 9. Call me at the office in the morning, huh?
Peter, I'm pregnant.
Are you sure? Oh, my God.
Well, what are we going to do?
I don't know. This could ruin my whole career. What about your folks?
I wouldn't understand. I couldn't tell them. Probably throw me out.
Well, I'll try to think of something. Kathy, I have to go now. I really do. You wait here. I'll make an excuse and slip away in about an hour. Wait in the car.
But you promise you'll come down?
Yes, yes, I promise. No later than 11.
been through these papers a dozen times. There's nothing in them but talk about the election.
Yeah, well, here's something to cheer you up.
What's this?
A bed warmer.
There goes the last of the brandy. Is this meant to put me to sleep?
No, not necessarily.
What's the time?
Just after 11.
I wonder how Prue's getting on with her new escort.
Who is this time? They're another budding genius with a flair for making statues out of spare bicycle parts.
I hear he's a very respectable boy. He plays the cello.
Well, that makes him respectable. I should have thought that type would be rather dangerous in a clinch.
George, I think we'd better change the subject.
All right, what to this time? The election again?
Oh, don't let's worry about that.
It's all right for you. I've got to worry about it. According to the commissioner.
Believe me, Smith, you are my second in command. You have no reason at all to resent Miles.
He's too emotional, too violent. He created that incident at the town hall today.
Now, let's get this quite clear. Whenever we have trouble, it's always created by the pacifists, the Reds, the Sampsons of this world. Please, Smith, forget about Miles.
It's just that when you depend on him so much, I wish I liked him a little better.
He's useful. Unity's the thing, so long as you know how you stand with me.
Nothing else matters.
For victory.
Victory. Good night, Sir Arthur.
Good night, Smith.
How is he, Doctor?
Mr. Smith will live. That's about all I can tell you until we can get him to hospital. His eyes are badly burned.
Sergeant, I want all the people on this floor questioned. What do they see? What do they hear? Anyone with any sort of statement, I'll talk to you personally.
Right away, sir.
Gross incompetence. Stupid police bungling.
We've had a constable guarding your building, Sir Arthur, ever since you asked for protection.
I asked for protection, and did I get it? One of my closest supporters and dearest friends, seriously injured, perhaps blinded. Is that the way the police do their jobs? You should be dismissed from the force. When Commander Gideon gets here, I intend to tell him so.
That's is your privilege, of course. In the meantime, I'd like to ask you a few more questions.
Who was that?
Vane's lieutenant, name of Smith. Vane's in there with Bill Parsons.
How did it happen?
Well, Vane opened the door for Smith to leave. Smith started to go through. Big flash and a bang. Smith took most of it on the face and chest.
You found something, Gib?
Well, this is part of it, sir.
Was it plastic?
That's the first one of its kind I've seen, sir. In England, that is. Obviously, it's pretty small. About the size of a cigarette lighter.
How was it done?
Well, a string, sir. Thumbtacked into the door here. And then tied to the bomb on the ledge above the door. And when the door was open, it pulled the bomb down and exploded on impact.
Any idea how long it was there?
About an hour and a half. The bomb went off at 11:30. Geoffrey Miles, their chief organizer, and a chap named Hamilton, that's their Birmingham candidate, left at about 10. When they opened the door, it was all clear.
It must have been fixed after they left.
It seems that way. Police Constable Braithwaite was on duty outside the building and asked you to talk to him.
Yeah.
Constable Braithwaite, would you come in, please?
What sort of mood is Vane in?
He's wild.
Has he had?
No, not seriously. A few cuts on the face.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Constable. Did you see anything that might help us?
I saw a young woman leave the building about a quarter of an hour before the bomb went off, sir. She came out of the garage.
Not the main entrance?
No, sir.
Can you describe her?
In her 20s, I'd say, sir. Wore a light fawn-coloured raincoat with a belt. Blonde hair, about 5'3" or 4. She, well, sir, I got the impression that she was upset about something. I couldn't see her close up, but she had her handkerchief out, and I think she was crying.
See anybody else enter or leave between 10 and 10:30?
No one from the main entrance, sir. I saw a car go into the garage around 10, sir. Jag. A Triumph left soon after.
Miles and Hamilton.
Huh?
Hamilton drives a Triumph.
All right, Constable.
Yes, sir.
Well, if there's nothing else, sir, we're finished here. Haley has a few prints. We'll check them out. They'll be reporting your desk first thing in the morning.
All right. All right, thank you. Any theories?
Well, Vane has a lot of enemies.
Social and political. Is he blaming the police for this?
He considers his protection inadequate.
It was, as things turned out.
Commander Gideon, this is Mr. and Mrs. Peter Bennett. They live in the flat next door.
Good evening.
I think Mr. Parsons should have a word with them.
Right, Sergeant.
You mean to say somebody actually tried to kill Sir Arthur Vane with a bomb?
Oh, that's what we're here to find out.
It's a shame they got the wrong man.
Marjorie. I take it you don't like Sir Arthur.
Does anybody? He's a perfectly dreadful man. It's like living next door to a zoo.
Oh, in what way?
Oh, the most ghastly people wandering in and out at all hours of the day and night. And those dirty beatnik types outside with placards half the time.
No, Mr. Miles, Arthur's quite all right. But he'd appreciate it if you'd come straight over. Thank you very much. You'll be right over, sir. Yes, Sergeant.
Sir, there's Mr. and Mrs. Bennett from the flat next door. Mr. Bennett seems rather reluctant to give us any information. I thought that you should talk to him.
Right. Would you mind if I used this room, Sir Arthur?
Oh, not at all. I can wait in the kitchen.
Thank you very much, sir. Ask the Bennetts to come in, Sergeant.
Yes, sir. This way, please.
Ah, Commander Gideon.
I'm here personally, Sir Arthur, to prove to you the Yard takes this as a very serious matter.
Yes, it's the old story, isn't it? Locking the stable door after. Oh, well, what's the use of talking? When Geoffrey Miles arrives, tell him I'm in the kitchen.
And then what?
We heard an explosion and rushed out into the hall.
I see. All right, Mrs. Bennett, that's all. Not you, Mr. Bennett, if you don't mind.
But I've told you everything I know.
Just a few more questions, sir, if you don't mind. Thank you, Mrs. Bennett. You seem reluctant to answer Sergeant Cummings' question, sir. Why?
I wasn't reluctant at all.
Mm-hmm. When you put your car away in the garage, you see anyone?
No.
How do you get along with Sir Arthur Vane?
That's a ridiculous question.
Nevertheless, answer it.
I don't know him. Except by sight, I've never spoken a word to him.
Why? He's your neighbor, isn't he? Why wouldn't you speak to him?
Frankly, I don't think that's any of your business.
You don't like him, do you, Mr. Bennett? None of your friends likes him either. Or what he stands for. You think he's a dangerous man, don't you?
How dare you ask me questions like this? Next you'll be wanting to know how I vote.
Mr. Parsons, if you're through with Mr. Bennett, could I have a word with you?
Of course, sir. Thank you, Mr. Bennett, for being so very helpful. That's all for the moment. You and your wife may go home now.
I'm sorry to interrupt, Bill, but I heard most of that, and you were heading for a brick wall.
Why, sir?
Well, people in this country don't like being asked about their political opinions or about the opinions of their friends.
But in this
case... You won't
case...
get a straight answer to a political question. It's pointless to ask.
But I have to ask them.
Why?
Because this is a political crime, sir.
There's no such thing as a political crime in England. This is a felony, pure and simple.
Oh, that's fine in theory, but we're dealing with a bunch of hoodlums and raving fanatics.
Well, there's no law against being a fanatic.
Well, then there should be. I'm sick and tired of these people trying to push everyone around. Why don't we shove the lot of them into jail?
Don't you think you're being a bit of a fanatic yourself?
Me?
A fanatic is a man who redoubles his efforts when he's forgotten his aim.
Well, my aim's quite simple, sir, and I don't forget it for a moment. It may sound old-fashioned, but my aim is to try and keep this country a true democracy.
How? By force?
Commander, one of the two men who left this flat at 10 is here. Geoffrey Miles. Do you want to see him?
Right, bring them in. Well, maybe I do tend to get a bit hot under the collar about this sort of thing.
Well, there's no law against that either. This is my friend and colleague, Geoffrey Miles. Geoffrey,
Here are two more representatives of our cautious and impotent police.
Good evening, gentlemen. It seems that the ban the bomb party only want to ban the other people's bombs.
I've been asked to make a statement for the evening papers, George. My last edition's going to press in 30 minutes. And they've nothing to print on the bomb case except your appeal for this young girl to come forward.
That's all?
No other leads?
I'm afraid not. But, frankly, I don't think we need to treat this case as a national disaster.
It could become one. Another of these bombs may be set off at any minute. This sort of thing can spread like the plague.
Well, the less publicity we give to it, the better.
We can't control the press. If they get nothing from us, they'll get stories from other sources. Vane and Geoffrey Miles are making a tremendous song and dance of this, calling the police every name they can think of, working like mad for public sympathy.
Well, we can't help that. All we can do is our best and rely on the common sense of the public to help us.
George, I'd like you to take charge of this personally and keep me posted. I don't mind admitting it. I'm worried. We've got to find that girl.
I suppose there are a dozen girls helping in my campaign who could fit this picture. She could be one of your supporters, then. It's possible. You admit that, Mr. Sampson? I don't know who she is. If she's one of our people, she'll only be concerned with banning bombs, not setting them off in people's faces. I see. Have you ever written any threatening letters to Sir Arthur Vane? Well, I've seen correspondence over your name in various journals that expressed violent opinions about the V-Men. I've had nothing to do with physical threats or acts, Mr. Parsons. Has anyone connected with you? Not to my knowledge. Well, let's make a supposition. Let's suppose, for the sake of argument, there's a danger of these V-Men, the fascists, taking over this country. Would you still do nothing but preach and write letters? Would you never take direct action? Wouldn't you even consider using force to stop them? Mr. Parsons, I came down here at your invitation to try and help you. I appreciate that. And please don't try and badger me into a political argument. No, I thought political arguments were your stock in trade. My stock in trade is peace. Then you don't hate the fascists? I hate fascism. But not the V-Men themselves? I despise them. You don't regret that one of them may have been blinded by a plastic bomb? They've sown the wind, they shall reap the whirlwind. That's a violent statement, Mr. Sampson. The Bible's a violent book.
The young woman is about 20 years of age. When last seen, she was wearing a light-colored, belted raincoat. She is about 5 feet 4 inches tall and has blonde hair. The police request that anyone who saw a young woman answering this description in the vicinity of Park Towers should get in touch with them at their nearest police station. She is wanted for questioning in connection with the... If anyone has any information regarding this incident, or if the young woman herself is listening, would she please contact New Scotland Yard at telephone number Whitehall 1212. Now here is the...
Peter, what are we going to do?
Look, does your father know you're in London?
No, he thinks I'm staying with a girlfriend.
Well, where are you staying?
The Winfield Hotel is near Paddington Station, and it's very grim.
Well, don't go back there.
Where else, Peter?
Home to Bristol.
You're mad? I can't.
Do you want to be picked up by the police? Well, they're looking for you.
Do you think I don't know that?
And if you're wandering around London, they'll find you and your name will be all over the papers.
I know.
And how do you explain what you're doing at Park Towers?
Well, look, even if they find me, I won't tell them anything.
And if you do, it'll ruin me. I'll lose my job, my wife will walk out.
Hey, Peter, I've got a problem too, remember?
Oh, Kathy, if we're going to try to do anything about this, I've got to have some time. Look, I'll let you have some money.
What for?
Well, a little now and more when you...
When I what, Peter?
Kathy, I don't know. I must have time to think.
Look, I've just told you that if they find me, I promise you I won't say anything. But you must tell me you still love me. Please,
oh, for God's sake, Kathy, not now.
Traced the girl.
She was seen getting into a Jaguar Mark 10 in Hampstead 35 minutes ago.
Checked out the registration number?
Yes, it belongs to Peter Bennett.
Who lives on the 6th floor of Park Towers, right next door to Sir Arthur Vane.
The man you interviewed last night.
And who got so very huffy when I asked him a few political questions.
All right, you better talk to him.
I can't help you. I had absolutely nothing to do with this bomb business.
But you did have a visitor last night, didn't you, in spite of your denials?
All right, I did. But not to the flat. I met her in the underground garage.
Why the garage?
I couldn't avoid it. She was waiting for me when I drove in.
What's her name, Mr. Bennett?
Miller. Kathy Miller.
Where is she now?
I'm not sure.
But the quickest way of clearing yourself of any suspicion is simply to tell us the truth.
She's at the Winfield Hotel, near Paddington Station.
Thank you.
All right, wait.
What are you going to do, arrest her or something? It's not her fault she's caught up in this.
Well, then she's got nothing to worry about. Neither of you.
Who is this girl, Mr. Bennett?
I told you, she's a friend.
You say you met her in Bristol?
Yes. When I was away from my wife for rather a long time.
I take it you know her rather well, then?
Yes.
Does she belong to a CND group? The Campaign for Nuclear Disarmament, Mr. Bennett, the band that bombed people? Sampson's supporters and Vane's political opponents.
Are you suggesting that Kathy had anything to do with planting a bomb outside Vane's apartment?
Just answer the question, please, Mr. Bennett.
Kathy doesn't belong to anything. She's just a kid.
Why did she come to London?
To see me.
You're a married man.
Yes. Yes, I'm a married man. Which is another of life's mysteries that you can't understand, Mr. Parsons.
I understand all that very well, Mr. Bennett. Have you anything else, sir?
No.
All right, Mr. Bennett. You can go now. If we can tie this girl or Bennett in with Sampson, wouldn't you say we had a political crime, sir?
Well, hello.
Good evening. Miss Miller. Miss Miller. Miss Miller.
Yes?
Miss Catherine Miller.
Yes, I am.
I'm a police officer.
Well, what do you want?
I'd like you to come with me, please.
Well, I haven't done anything.
You were seen last night leaving the underground garage of the Park Towers. Mr. Peter Bennett told us that you were going to...
Peter? You've spoken to him?
Yes.
Well, what did he tell you?
That he met you last night.
Well, there's nothing wrong in that now, is there?
No, nothing. We just want to ask you a few questions.
No, I can't come. I won't.
Miss Miller, you don't seem to understand. I'm a police officer. If you won't come with me voluntarily, I can arrest you.
Yes, but look, I haven't done anything wrong.
Then there's nothing to be frightened of, is there?
Okay. I'll come with you.
Miss Miller!
No, please, let me go, please!
Come on! Nobody's going to hurt you. Now, calm down. Now, relax. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on.
Ah, don't cry, love. They're not worth it. Do you want any help?
Leave her alone.
But why? Please tell me why.
We just want to ask you a few questions.
Miss Miller, were you in the garage of Park Towers last night between 9 and 10?
Did you meet Peter Bennett?
Answer the question, Miss Miller. Did you meet Bennett? Look, Miss Miller, a bomb was set off last night in Park Towers, and we think you know something about it. If necessary, we'll question you all night. Now, let's try again.
Please. Would you mind if I had a few minutes with Miss Miller alone?
Not at all, sir.
Bit drafty in here, isn't it? Oh. That's better. Cigarette? Never?
My father doesn't like us to.
Very wise man, your father.
Some ways.
Oh, fathers can't be perfect, can they? I know I'm not. In fact, most of the time, my kids think I'm a great big rectangular square.
Yeah, mine's strict.
Very strict?
Yes.
Is he, fair, would you say?
Oh, sometimes. It's just that he's
Possessive.
like I was 5 years old.
I'm a bit possessive, too, I suppose. If I see my daughter doing anything I know is going to make her unhappy, I can't help interfering, you know.
Yeah.
Miss Miller, may I call you Kathy?
Of course.
This, Peter Bennett. You love him, don't you?
Yes, I do. But he's married.
Well, that's not your fault, is it?
I know, but I didn't mean to do anything wrong or anything, but if only my father would realize that...
Yes?
Sorry to interrupt, sir. Just got a message from Birmingham. Another bomb.
Go on.
In a car belonging to John Hamilton. He's the Victory Movement's Birmingham candidate. He was driving Vane from a meeting back to the hotel. Hamilton got into the car first, and bang.
Is he dead?
In a critical condition, in hospital.
Intended for Vane?
Looks that way.
Well, that's out Sampson. He's in London.
So's Peter Bennett.
Peter? You can't think he's got anything to do with this.
No, Miss Miller, we don't.
Okay. Thanks. Let me know when he's through. Right.
Parsons again?
No, a message about Miss Miller.
Oh, she come around?
The doctor's with her now, but...
But he doesn't want us barging in scouting with any more questions.
Not until he's had a good look at her.
I'm sure that girl can help us, David.
Parson thinks so, too. He's got her taped as a secret C&D fanatic.
It's not politics of the H-bomb that's on Miss Miller's mind.
Commander Gideon's office.
This boyfriend of hers, Bennett, could he be mixed up with Sampson?
Mr. Bennett's too interested in saving his own skin to get involved in saving the world.
It's Birmingham, sir.
Yes?
Hamilton's going to have an emergency operation. It's touch and go.
What about the bomb?
It was plastic, but that's all.
I'll tell them to keep us informed.
Same method as at Vane's flat.
Yeah, same man or group of men behind it.
Yes. Parsons thinks that Sampson could have planned this second bombing from London. He's got special branch checking CND supporters in Birmingham and any links that Sampson may have with them.
Yeah, well, Parsons can go on hammering away at that line, but it doesn't make any sense to me. Why should Sampson go in for assassination? Is he an idiot as well as a madman? The whole effect of these bombings is to make martyrs of the V-men, win public sympathy.
You mean dying for their cause?
Exactly. The V-men thrive on trouble like this. If there's no fight, they'll start one. They can't find enemies, they'll create them. Yesterday it was the Jews and the Reds. Today it's the pacifists and the Africans.
You think this bombing was a put-up job?
Had the same effect if it was.
Yes, but someone's out for Vane himself. Message from the medical officer, sir. Thanks. No wonder Miss Miller fell into your arms.
I'll have another word with that girl. Kathy, I know. Are you very frightened, aren't you?
I wish I were dead.
How old are you?
19.
Well, you don't need me to tell you you've got your whole life ahead of you. I won't pretend you haven't made a mess of things because you have.
I know.
It's no use my asking you to go home.
Oh, I couldn't face my father.
He might surprise you.
Oh, you don't know him.
No, that's right, I don't. Tell me about him.
Well, he places great store on things like appearances, and he's very conventional. And I'd rather not talk about him.
Look, Kathy, you've made a bad mistake, but that's all. It's a mistake. You haven't committed a crime. I personally don't consider you a bad girl. In fact, I think you're an extremely nice girl.
That's me, a nice girl. Do you know, I didn't know he was married. And I did believe him when he said he loved me. I've been a fool, haven't I?
Kathy, there are all sorts of people in London who can help you with this problem. It happens all the time to nice girls. You'll be taken care of, not luxuriously, but you'll have everything you need and the best of medical help. And when your baby's born, these same people will help you to put the baby out for adoption, if you don't want to keep it. A year from now, everything will be quite different.
Will you help me?
Yes.
Do you promise?
Yes, I promise. Well, you want me to trust my heart and hope to die?
No, I believe you.
Thanks.
Now you want me to help you, don't you?
It's not a condition to my helping you. You don't have to do anything in return.
No, I'd like to.
What happened in the garage last night?
Well, I was waiting for Peter, and he arrived about 10 o'clock. And we were talking, and he was rather upset, you see, because, well, he didn't know about me. And while we were talking, these two men came in.
Did you see them?
No, not very well. It was pretty dark. But I heard most of what they said.
Tell me.
Well, one man said, how long will it take you to drive to Birmingham? The other man said about 3 hours. Then the man in the car offered the other man a lift home, and he said, no, thank you, not to bother, because he only lived round the corner.
Is that all?
No, because the man then drove his car out, and the other man followed on foot.
Then what?
Well, Peter had to go upstairs, because his wife was expecting him, and he promised me that he'd come down again as soon as he could, so he let me wait in his car. Well, after a while, I decided that he wasn't coming back, and I was, well, depressed and a bit fed up, I suppose, and I decided to leave. And as I was leaving, this man came back.
What man?
Well, I'm not sure. I didn't get a very good look.
Look, Kathy, was it the man you saw walking out of the garage?
I couldn't be sure.
Could you identify him if you saw him again?
Well, I might. Well, I think that was the man.
But it doesn't make sense. Why would Miles want to kill Vane?
The Nazis burned the Reichstag and blamed it on the Reds. Miles could have written those threatening letters.
Miles could have done it. We only assume Miles got into Hamilton's car. Now we know he didn't.
He could have hidden in the bushes at the top of the ramp.
Then walked back in, fixed the bomb on Vane's door. Is Vane on his way back to London?
Yes. And Miles is with him.
It's all been too much for me.
Yes, I know.
Smith blinded, Hamilton nearly killed. Nothing's worth this kind of tragedy. Don't bother to come up, John. Take Mr. Miles home.
I'd rather see you to the door, sir.
All right. Sir Arthur? Commander.
I'd like a word or two with Mr. Miles, please.
Do you realize it's 4 o'clock in the morning?
That's all right, sir. What can I do for you, Commander?
I have reason to believe that you were responsible for the bomb attack on Sir Arthur Vane.
What are you talking about?
I have to caution you that anything you say...
I've already told you before.
...will be taken
I
down and may be used in evidence.
This is monstrous. They've taken leave of their senses.
No, we haven't.
Will you come with us, please?
No, I won't.
Now, this won't do you any good, Miles.
Won't it?
Miles, listen.
Listen to you? I've listened to you for years. Millions and millions of words that meant nothing.
Now, put that gun down, Miles.
He cheated. He betrayed us all. I look on him as a sort of messiah. I worshipped him. I even loved him. You could have been the greatest leader the world has ever known. But you were afraid. Afraid of greatness. Afraid of power. Afraid to act. Afraid to be somebody.
Miles, for God's sake.
You're yellow. You're effeminate. Well, you're finished. I'm taking over now. I'm the leader. I'm the leader.
Jeffrey Miles is a paranoid. Delusions of power. Without your help, we'd never have caught him.
Goodbye, Miss Miller.
Goodbye.
Good luck.
Thank you very much.
Kathy, I've had a talk with your father.
No.
No, it's all right. He understands.
Commander Gideon's office.